Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the UNID hardware number HD012 in a 605 or US3 finish. This is made of solid brass, so it would be appropriate to call it 605. US3 tells us it's polished brass, but doesn't tell us that it's any particular base material. But when we call polished brass 605, that's the BHMA number. That tells us two things. It tells us three things, actually. It's made of solid brass, that it has a polished finish, and has a clear lacquer coating over it. Let's take a closer look at it. Okay, and here we go. So the HD012 is a 12-inch solid brass surface bolt with a solid knob. Does certainly appear to have good fit and finish on the material itself. Okay, so yeah, indeed solid brass. Something of this length is going to have 3 mounting points to it. Yeah, it's good. The finish underneath the knob and on top of the knob is a bit marginally rough. Might have been some particulate in the air when it was getting a clear coat. You can't really see it, but you do kind of feel it a little bit when you run your finger over it. Don't know if that'll end up being a long-term sort of problem. Everything else seems nice and smooth. All right, so solid knob. No ornate profile, no colonial sort of ridge profile to this. It's just a flat, solid type knob. Now, let's take a look at the technical drawing of the item, and then we're going to get into the extended description information. So when they say it's 12-inch, you're generally dealing with a bolt that's, about 12-inch from the tip of the bolt to the center of the knob, generally in that range. Okay, that's indeed what this is going to be. The width of the bolt itself is going to be 5/8 of an inch. The thickness is, if it's perfectly round, which it appears to be, should also be 5/8. Oh, forgive me. That would be, of course, 5/16. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. The overall width of the mounting point, they've got it at 1.25 inches. Pardon me, the 1.25 inches. I don't know what they're referring to in that technical drawing, 1.25 inches. That would be, I'm not sure what that is. Center to center of the screw holes, it looks like they're giving us 1 1/16. And that's certainly not correct. It's closer to 1 5/16. And overall width of the mounting point looks like it's about 1 5/8 inches. Projection of the knob, about 1 1/8 inches. Diameter of the knob, about 1 1/4 inches. So as I look closer at the drawing, I realize that I've interpreted it incorrectly. The 1.25 inches they're trying to show as the center to center of the screw holes. And that's, yes, still a little bit incorrect, but not severely so. Okay, maybe I'm incorrect. So it looks like it's closer to 1 5/16. The 1 1/16 is the projection. And I just came back from a week of door and hardware detailing. So I feel like a fool. So the 1 1/16 is the projection. Now that's going to be governed by the travel of the bolt. Okay, and what we can do is, by just moving the mounting pad, you can see we're about 2 and, let's just say 2 5/8. Bring that down to its minimum point. You can see that you're going to be about 1 5/8. So it's closer to about, it looks like it's right on, 1 1/16. You need hardware, I apologize. Your drawing is good. They only show 2 of their mounting points in the drawing, but it would certainly not be incorrect for there to be 3 on a 12-inch. And I would say that the 12-inch bolt is exactly where you'll get 3 of your mounting points. Okay, 8-inch, an 8-inch bolt is going to have just 2 as they've drawn there. Okay, now they do include a strike with this. This is the what they call the universal strike. This is a T strike, and I'm going to take some dimensions of it now. They don't show us an overall directly, do they? Yeah, maybe 1 3/4. Yeah, about 1 7/8. The overall width, about 1 9/16. Okay. Overall height of the lip portion, it's about 1 5/16 or so. That's going to be made of solid brass as well. So they're going to call this a universal strike in the sense that, you know, generally I would see this on an in-swing application. Let's take it out of the package. I would generally see it on an in-swing application, and what that would mean is that this would be mounted up to the header. So that the door, it's going to be mounted to the header so that the door is going to reside within this space and the bolt will be surface mounted. Well, that door would swing in. If you had a door that swung out, I really don't see how you're going to be able to install this without literally flattening this. So in swing is where you're going to use this strike. A mortise strike would be best if we were dealing with an outswing where the bolt would be mounted to the face, the push side of the door, and that strike is mounted up into the soffit of the frame. So this would be, this T-strike, and you can see why we call it a T. This T-strike would be best mounted for an in-swing application. It's going to include screws. They are, well, I don't know that they're brass, but they're certainly non-ferrous. It would be my guess that they would be brass. You know, they're slightly magnetic, which tells me they might be something other than brass. Stainless is slightly magnetic once it's worked, but brass would be thoroughly, would have no residual magnetism to it. So I don't believe that they're actually made of brass, which is not necessarily a bad thing in the sense that having screws that are made of solid brass can be tricky because you kind of learn when it's too late how soft that metal is. So they probably make them something, a base material that's more durable, harder to shear is what I'm trying to say, than a brass base material. So we've gone over the dimensional properties of this item. Now this, and I'm looking at another screen here, this bolt is going to be available in lots of different finishes and sizes. And I can tell you that this client literally requested the universal strike on this order, so that's why this order came with this T-shaped strike. Now let's take a look at the other finishes available in this bolt. Oh, there's lots. Sure, of course there are. There is not so many, maybe 8. US3 for polished brass, US5 for antique brass, US10B for oil rubbed bronze, US14 for polished nickel, US15 for satin nickel, US15A for antique nickel, US19 for black, US26 for polished chrome, US26D for satin chrome. It would be more appropriate to call those by their BHMA numbers, and that's how they're listed there as well. Now they're also going to have lots of different lengths of this bolt, and let's take a closer look at those other lengths now, and we'll give you an idea of how you can populate the part number based on what those other lengths are that are available. And really the HD012 is where the 12-inch is going to come in to play, and I'm looking at a 4-inch, forgive me, they do make a 4-inch, it's called a Dutch door bolt. They have 6-inch, 8-inch, 12-inch, 18-inch, 24-inch, 36-inch, 48-inch, 60-inch. So HD060 ought to give us a 60-inch bolt from Unide Hardware, and indeed it does. So HD008 would be 8-inch, HD036, 36-inch, etc. You can literally just search for HD, then your size, 008, 012, 018, 024, 036, 048, 060, and you'll have your size, and it'll be sorted by finishes. They're not, all the lengths aren't available in all of the same finishes, apparently, so be mindful of that. Now, they do also give us a spiral knob version as well, and what you'll do for a spiral knob, they call it a deco, you're going to add a D to the end of the part number. So if you wanted this bolt in a spiral shaped knob, it ought to be HD012D, and indeed it is. The image is not really clear that it is a decorative spiral bolt, because that's the image that the factory is giving, but the large image does give us an idea that there are going to be some circles here, plus the technical drawing alludes to it a little bit. So if you want a knob that's going to have a couple of concentric circles, maybe something a bit more colonial, you might, well, this Plymouth style knob is certainly going to be considered quite colonial. If you wanted something a little more decorative on the knob, you would go with the D version. We do sell some Unide hardware. I am certainly pleased with the fit and finish. I would argue, I would plainly state that there are those that are better. I would also state that those that are better, meaning you have a better fit and finish over that knob, would be noticeably, substantially more expensive. And I would argue that for the confluence of value and quality, that Unide hardware is definitely right in the pocket of a confluence of those two requirements. Sure, you could triple the cost of what you'd spend for a 12-inch solid brass surface bolt, and it would be a better fit and finish, but there is nothing that is substantially horrible with this one that would disqualify it from consideration. And you couldn't see that small little texture to the face of that knob. You couldn't see it on the camera, that's for sure, but I could feel it on the fingers. Good quality product. They're a good quality company as well. They are responsive. They get products shipped out relatively quick. They're eager to help, and I do like to do business with them because they get stuff basically on the road, and they do so in a predictable, prompt, reliable sort of fashion. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Unide hardware products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Unide hardware HD012 in a 605 or US3 finish 12-inch solid brass surface bolt, or any other Unide hardware product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.